Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your live forecast for March 2020. Had some requests to have Apollo join you at the beginning. He always wakes up from naps to come here for a little bit. So I just wanted to, yes, I'm going to let him go back to sleep. He's still a little tired. But we have so much to cover today and really have some great energy coming through. It was apparent in the first sign and it's also here today. I just feel like this is a really powerful time to read. And I believe we're right on the precipice of a full moon. And just getting ahead of that energy, I definitely feel that there's a lot of healing that can happen for this particular full moon. And I think it's fortuitous that part of what I'm doing this month for every sign is to focus on self-love, healing, and forgiveness. So I would love for all of you to stick around until the latter portion of this. The last third, I focus on work on the soul work. And this month, I'm going to try to help you get past any barriers that are holding you back from love. And this is love with a capital L, as I've been saying, which is really unconditional love, love of the soul, love of others, love of the planet. So this will help you pull in the other forms of love that come through and the other forms of abundance. So stick around until the end, but let's not get ahead of ourselves too much. I'd like to start off by saying, welcome. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. I know there's some new folks in there, some new faces as I was looking at the live chat, and some people that have been here for a couple years and haven't been able to catch one of my live broadcasts. So for all of you that are returning members and fans and supporters, I just want to say welcome. It's great to see you. Today's going to be amazing. It's been great for the first session. I know this one's going to be also really, really impactful. And let me just walk through how I organize one of these readings so you know what's going on, what's in store here. Everything that I do can be used for your sun, rising, and moon. I know a lot of you already know that. If you don't, just stick with your sun sign, and that's going to be more than enough. But if you have someone in your life and you want to cross watch, feel free to do that. And I encourage anyone that wants to take part in the meditation at the end to do that. Even though I kind of really tailor it for each sign, there's something that can be gained by anybody that listens to that meditation. So we'll get into that in a moment. Everything that you see here is because of you, viewer supported. So one thing that's interesting about live chat is that you can do something called super chat. I do encourage that, but I don't answer questions during the reading. This is so that folks that can't watch me live can enjoy the broadcast without me constantly kind of referring to people in the corner. So if you want to support me, a great way to do that is to pick a sticker or just say something encouraging. And you can use this little icon here to do a super chat, by the way. And what I'll do is at the very end, after I've posted the video live, I'll call you out in a special section on the comments. And I just want to let you know that I appreciate you. In the meantime, I want to also thank Ryan and Maria for helping keep things organized. They'll be here to answer any high-level questions. I would just ask that we keep chat relevant to what I'm talking about. Otherwise, feel free to talk and encourage one another. And if there's anything that you feel relevant that you want to talk about, you can do that. The forecast is arranged in three major parts, plus that healing meditation at the end. The three major parts are channeled information. That's what I was doing when I was getting ready here. I basically meditate, select a deck of cards, and I write down what I hear and see. Then I'm going to go into a Celtic Cross. Then the expanded forecast, which includes health, wealth, love, and destiny. And then we do the healing meditation, which is something unique to my live forecasts. At the very end, I'll talk a little bit more about how you can get more involved. And if you wanted a one-on-one reading or you wanted to become a patron, you could do that. I will say that if you're interested, all of this information is on my website, which is nicholasashbaugh.com. And again, my moderators will periodically put that information out there. So I'd really like to get into what I've been hearing and seeing for your signs. So let's do that now. As I was meditating, what came through to me was a symbol that means something to me because my grandfather, who is in spirit, has come to me many times in the sort of symbol of a taxi. He's someone who helps souls cross and helps people find people. So he doesn't literally drive a taxi, but he showed me that sort of as a symbol for messages. And when I saw the symbol of a taxi coming through for you, and I saw multiple drivers and a kind of a curvy path, I was like, are they really headed in the right direction? What I wrote down was, to clarify your intent this month, is everybody on the same page? So it's just like if you hop into an Uber or a Lyft and say something like, if maybe there's a destination that has a similar sort of sound as another one, you really need to make sure that you know where you're headed and that the other person knows where you're headed, so that you don't inadvertently sort of get off on the wrong foot or take a longer route than you thought. And that was the other piece was, I feel that this month there are a few things that your sign in particular just needs to kind of get checked off the list. And I said, be careful with shortcuts because they may not actually save time. So there may be a way to improve a process or to get something done more efficiently, maybe bringing more hands on board. But I feel like just getting it done is more important than trying to take a shortcut. So really work on communication this month and avoid the shortcuts, and things will get done faster than you think. So I've been starting off readings today with a sort of affirmative thought. First of all, we're going to have an amazing reading today. I can already feel that. But your affirmative thought is actually, it's not going to be as hard as I think. I actually am going to be able to get through this. Sometimes we kind of build up this mountain of energy and sometimes even a fear of, like, you dread doing something. And then once you get into the flow of it, it's not that bad. I'm sure you felt this if you're cleaning the house or if you're doing homework or if you have to pick up the phone and have a conversation with someone and you're just not sure how it's going to go. That was a little bit of what I talked about in the last sign. If you enter it thinking it's going to be easy, then it is. It gets easier. You break through that. So for you, it's the illusion of this mountain that doesn't need to be there. So I'm going to scribble that down because that's one thing that came to mind here, is that we're going to make the path clearer and kind of get any sort of mountains or any sort of blocks out of your way. We're going to try to make it more of a clear path, and also work on clarity as well. So when I get into the meditation, I'll focus on that. Plus, there'll be some additional messages that come through based on the Celtic Cross, and also with the healing meditation, I pull past, present, and future influences. So I'll get some additional insight then. I always tailor it based on what I see here. So we never know where it will go, but it will be impactful and it will definitely release energy. So with that being said, let's get into the cards. As you all know, I like to pull the camera down, let you see as I lay everything out. And I'm usually pretty quiet during this point unless something really seems like I need to highlight it. But afterwards, we're going to go through every card and walk through everything. So don't worry. So please stick around for a couple minutes as I lay out everything on the table. Interesting. All right, everybody, thank you for waiting. And yeah, this is a really cool deck. It's actually, I think, out of print. It's on my website. I think it's called, I don't know, the Glastonbury Tarot or something like that. It's one that you can only kind of get on eBay or something like that. But I love the colors. It kind of aligns with chakras. So with that being said, let's go to your catalyst card. As you know, the catalyst is a way to connect with higher frequency energy. And so if there's ever something that kind of tries to pull us off path, as I said, this helps keep you on that path. And the card here is really about service. It says, I feel good when I can help others. With the reversal of the service card, there are two things that I'd like to say. For some of you, you may actually be doing so much work for others that you've forgotten yourself. It almost reminds me of an Ace of Pentacles. So I would say balance is always important. And I think this is especially true for teachers, anybody that's in the medical field, whether you're on the nurse and assistant side, or like the doctor side, and also for healers and everybody that kind of is working with the public and trying to help them get better. This is basically saying that you need to take care of yourself too. So to turn the card upright, you just have to realize that you're part of that equation. The other thing with the service card is if you're finding like that you don't have a sense of what to do in your life, you may find a connection to that purpose, or even to some people that you could really just feel a kinship to by doing service. So volunteer work, maybe even just learning something for the sake of learning it. When I first began my journey in tarot, I knew that I wanted to study cards, but I wasn't doing it to actually practice it. I just wanted to learn. I did the same thing with yoga initially. I just did yoga for like 4 or 5 years to clear the energy in my body. And then I became a teacher just to learn how to go deeper into the practice. And ultimately I ended up merging these things together. So I didn't understand how it would work. I just knew I wanted to do it. And I knew I wanted to do things that could help people. So I would say, first, maybe just learn something for yourself. Maybe then there'll be an application that's broader. But I see you working with people and that expanding your feeling of belonging, of feeling like life is good. So get out of maybe the hermit energy and find a way to work on yourself. Self-improvement, and then also work that helps others is going to benefit you and kind of break down any sort of boundaries or barriers that you might be experiencing right now. We have the chariot at the center, but I really love this chariot because you see someone actually moving in a boat. It has some of the energy that you would see with the Six of Swords without any of the connotations of the Six of Swords, which means sacrifice or leaving something behind. So for you, forward momentum, but in a different way. We're not looking at the normal vehicle here. It's not about horses. It's not about something else. So I see this, for some of you, the chariot is involving someone in the distance, because I'm getting elements of the Six of Swords. So you might be collaborating kind of like we're doing through telepresence or like chat with somebody in another country. You may meet a friend, a colleague, or something that you need to work with, again, where you're going to have to bridge the gap of the distance between the two of you. The other thing with this chariot is there's no sails on it, but let's just imagine that the boat had it. This is where I'm saying things could possibly happen faster or in a different way. I think there could be a process improvement or something unexpected that could add to that. You're not going to have to deal with the shortcut. I just think that there might be a person that you could connect with, or there might be a new opportunity that opens up that maybe even you can leapfrog over this current sort of thing. It's not so much about shortcutting it. It's about maybe there's even a completely different opportunity. If you have to try too hard, that's a sign from the universe. So be open to new forms of getting stuff done for people coming into your life that might help. And this chariot has just one person in it, and there are no horses or anything like that. So this is showing that one of the things that you want to do is really maintain ownership and control over things in your life. So if you're an artist, this would mean, if you have music or paintings or photography or writing, it's really important to look at the contract and make sure that your rights are being taken care of. If you're signing a contract for a house or a job, making sure that you're also receiving enough positive sort of exchange on that too, so that it's fair. Basically, everything needs to be balanced. And over top of this, we have the Ace of Cups. And what sometimes happens when we're looking at matters of business is passion can kind of get in the way. You can channel passion, however, to get people to see your point of view. Let them know that you're excited about this, that you understand that they are, and try to find a commonality there. So rather than getting emotional, instead just sort of get aligned. And I think that's really what I was trying to say earlier, was sort of an alignment. And I'm going to write that down for the meditation as well, to see if you could see two disparate paths coming together and merging. It's like that street sign that you see sometimes. So I feel like that's what's going to happen. There's two people, two opportunities, two paths, and you're going to find a way to work together and get it done better together. But you just have to make sure that the two of you are on that same mental page. And as we look in the deep past, I love that there's actually sort of a connection with that passion card that we saw. We have the sun, but we almost see like a chalice in this particular solar card. And it says the Grail, like the Holy Grail. So I feel like for some of you, you've found a higher purpose perhaps, or a higher calling here. I love the sun because it also gives us a little bit of a time element. So for some of you, you are wrapping up one solar sort of journey. So something that you worked on a year ago is coming to fruition now. That's why we see the chariot and the ace of cups. There's something to celebrate. And for some of you, there's a new journey that you're going to embark on. So cards like the sun or the wheel of fortune or the world to me indicate a shift in your path, a brand new cycle. So that's exciting. I feel like it's already started, or you know what you want to do. So really focus on owning and embracing that new path. Unfortunately, for some of you, you need to make a decision. I saw this in the past one, and it's sometimes difficult because you think, well, I'm comfortable where I'm at, right? Sometimes we wrap our experiences around us like a blanket, because whether it's a job or a relationship or just a way of living, predictability is nice. We all want to know what's ahead of us. What I see for you is, though, a chance to do better and feel better. Because when we look at the recent past, we have the Three of Swords, but it's reversed. The interesting thing about this Three of Swords is it's not so much about heartache. It's actually about people in your life, three different points of view or three different opportunities that just aren't allowing you to kind of feel like you're fulfilled or on that right path. So what I see here is a sense of understanding this doesn't make me happy. This doesn't bring me joy. I'm not feeling fulfillment. It's not necessarily, oh my God, it's the end of the world, I'm unhappy. It's sort of like I'm being pulled in another direction. And so this Three of Swords is directional more than heartache. Some of you may be going through that because you're just more sensitive. And your sign in particular is able to see things from, like all of the air signs can do this. But Gemini, a lot of times you tend to get into all of the different potential places. It's like the Seven of Cups. So I want to help you focus so that you don't get too distracted by these other people. This could also be an environmental thing where you're in a family, a work environment, or something around you situationally or environmentally is distracting you because you're sensitive and you can empathically and psychically kind of jump into these people's heads. You don't need to do that. I'm giving you permission to let go and realize that if people need your help, if the situation's worthy of you, it'll all work out. They're going to come to you. You're going to figure this out. But if not, what I see is a parting of the ways happening. So the Three of Swords almost invariably means parting or leaving, moving on. So we got that energy with the center, but it's good. Like this is a really solid chariot card. You don't need that energy anymore. You're stronger on your own. And then we have what almost looks like two cups here. It is, because we have the Ace of Cups and then we have a sun, which has this Holy Grail on it. So I feel like you're ready. You're ready for something better. And then Temperance is in your crowning position, which shows me that for some of you, the last sign that I read for, we saw the Fool, which is literally taking a leap of faith. I feel like for some of you in this sign, it's really about testing the waters, as we saw with this particular Temperance illustration. Getting started, taking the first step, not being afraid to begin, but not necessarily completely throwing everything out. So this is about, for some of you, if you're ready for the step, you might be looking at a job board and thinking, okay, I need to move on, but I need X more amount in my savings account. And then I need to make sure that this new job is going to make it work and all this. So you're going to be in a planning phase this month. So your step in the water, or your foot in the water, is going to be doing the research. For some of you, you've made the decision, and now you're going to decide how you're going to do it and who you're going to involve. And it's that clarification that I talked about in the channeled message. You're going to further basically kind of whittle down what your thought is so that you can see it, kind of like a sculptor. It's going to take form and take shape. And the great thing is that I feel like by the midpoint of the month, we're looking at March, by the way, by the midpoint of March, we have the King of Wands. And to me, this is the ultimate boss card. And this is really knowing what you're going to do, feeling strong. And I like that there's this wind of change, basically, that's coming through and allowing you to set sail. We were missing it at the beginning. I didn't see the sails in this boat, but now I see why. You have to really understand where you're going. And I mentioned that, like clarify your intent. And you don't need to take a shortcut. I honestly believe that once you know where you're going to go, it will happen faster because you will attract people and resources that will help it go faster. So it's not about you trying to make it on your own. I feel like once you know what you're going to do, you'll actually attract, like a magnet, the right people and the right opportunities. This is also it's a boss card. I talk about that. So this is a time when you really want to take ownership. We talked about the chariot at the center. For some of you, there may be a decision that if you can't get the right advocate, whether it's an agent, a lawyer, or somebody else in your life, that you may decide to do more on your own. So that could be incorporating your own company. That could be just deciding to find a place where you can get a higher position and have more power. Power is important this month, but it's not about we're not looking at the lower chakras. We're talking about ownership. So if you've worked hard to create something, or if you have a vision for something and you're a visionary, a creative person, you have to make sure that that vision is honored and is followed through. If it's your own life and you're trying to create something, you owe it to yourself to follow through as well. So when we look in the ego, this is both a warning for yourself and then for people around you. The Seven of Swords, this has to do with what my grandfather was showing me with the taxi cab. So here's the two people. We have the Seven of Swords, and the Seven of Swords has to do with sometimes people saying that they'll do something but not being able to follow through. That's the lightest version. Sometimes they say something and do the opposite. Sometimes there's communication going on behind the scenes. So as the manager, as the person that's taking care of everything this month, you want to clamp down on any of that when it happens. And the way to do that is simply to call it out when it happens and say, I don't have time for this. This is what we talked about. You can reset. A lighter version of the Seven of Swords can just be a misunderstanding and then a diversion as well. So communication is important. And then if something goes off the rails, you take the steering wheel. And that's what my grandfather was showing me for this sign this month, is that you're the boss, you're the conductor, you're the chariot, the king of wands here. And it's important to kind of take that. Now, the other thing is to be discerning about who you decide to partner with in all things: love, friendship, finance. So the Seven of Swords says, know your friend, know them well, and take your time. That's the thing I think you can't rush. The good news with this, it's not a contentious Seven of Swords. I believe that if there's something that goes wrong, you can have a conversation and you can correct it. And sometimes people are just testing boundaries, right? Particularly if you're a parent and you have kids, if you have pets like I do, they're always seeing, can I get away with this? What's going on with that? So you just stay firm in the boundaries, and then people know exactly how to show up and what you're going to put up with. And that's a good thing. End of delays is what I see when I'm looking at the environment. We have the Hanged Man and it's reversed, and I like that. The reversal of the Hanged Man or the Devil or the Tower shows that you're overcoming an obstacle. And so for you, that is delay. And I would say one of the things that you want to work with is patience. And as we can see here, there are other people actually kind of trying to get things done. And I think for some of you, the impatience or the block could have been hierarchy. So if you're in a company or a family where you're somewhere in the middle and there's a bunch of people that have seniority, and it's not necessarily about who's the right choice, it's basically who's been there longer or who knows more people. I feel like this is coming to an end right now. And one of the things that you can do is have a conversation about all the things that you've brought to the table and let them know what your vision is. Say, let me clarify. I need to do this. This is where I see myself in 1 year. Is this going to happen? You can have a straightforward conversation with someone that's been a little bit hedgy about that. So with respect to work, that's how you would handle it. If it's a relationship, it's the same thing. Is someone truly on board? Do they want to take it to the next level? If you're looking at, possibly partnering up with someone, this is a time to really look someone straight in the eye and let them know what your hopes, your fears, your ambitions are, and see if you can align. Two people coming together. As we look at hopes and fears, I like it. I have the Queen of Wands here. So when I get two of the same suit, that shows me that partnership is possible. It's almost like me getting the Two of Cups or the Lovers. Now, there's a slight resistance with the partner that's coming through. They're a little stubborn, or they have a hard time seeing it your way. So I think the one thing that you might want to work on this month, whomever this partner might be, like I said, it can be love, it can be work, it can be friendship, is to try to see if you can meet them halfway. And then the expectation for them is to reciprocate. You guys don't have to go one way or the other. It's about trying to come into the middle and peer over the fence a little bit and see if you can understand that point of view. I think you can, actually. And I see friendship and I see overcoming obstacles. And with the person that you're having a difficult time with, perhaps, or that you're feeling like, how do I convey it to them? The main thing to do is if they get defensive or they try to put you on the defensive, you don't go there. you basically meet them with a neutrality, not a sense of I don't care, more like, oh, it seems like maybe we need to revisit what I just said. It seems like we might have had a little bit of a misunderstanding. This is what I was saying. Does that make more sense? And if you're calm like that, oh, they realize that there's no need to fight. I think some people are sometimes put in a place where they're used to fight or flight. Maybe they were raised in an environment, or they've always worked in a place where people expect them to kind of like butt heads. You don't have to do that this month, because at the end of the day, you're in the same suit, you're in the same sort of energy. It's going to work out. You have more in common than you have apart. There just might be a different way to do it. And I think that's what I was seeing earlier with there's no shortcut. You have to kind of work it out together. And if you diverge, and that's not the best way. I feel like you have to come together and work together, and it's the joint energy, the two resources pulled together, that's going to make it happen faster. It's not about trying to avoid something. In fact, that probably is just going to take more time for both people. We have the Four of Cups in the outcome, and this one's reversed, and I really love it. I'm going to pull it upright so you can see the illustration. Instead of, oftentimes we see a cup floating in the air that the person's missing wholly and completely. This one is about just not being afraid to step into something new and to look at it from a different point of view, because usually the Four of Cups means missed perspective, a new opportunity that is there but is not being tapped into. So for you this month, I think the one thing that you want to be open to is like, what's next? I almost wrote down the following in automatic writing. I was going to say, are you ready? Because that was part of this. I get a bunch of messages and I try to pick the ones that resonate the most. I'm going to put this, I have a lot to do in the meditation. I'll also pick the best when I do this. But I think with the Four of Cups, are you ready? If you are, I feel like there's a chance for you to move on and to move up and to set in motion a brand new cycle. So we don't see here necessarily, like in some of the other signs that I've been reading, I could see a new job, I could see a move. I think for you, it's a decision, really, like, what is it that I'm trying to do? Where do I want to go? Once you know that, everything aligns. And I see a partner coming in that's going to help with some of these decisions. So if you need to leave someone, though, Three of Swords, I see an upgrade happening with someone that's better, someone that understands your point of view. And I think the key thing to look at to help you decide is, will they work through this with me? Are they willing to kind of talk about those difficult things? If so, you guys are in a good place. I think that this month is setting you up. What March is really about for you is the gateway. Where are you trying to go next? So much as I was saying with the previous sign, there's some stuff that you have to finish. And I feel like the work has to happen this month. But when it does, there's a sense of joy and celebration and jubilation because I got that done. And I feel like for some of you, maybe there's even been a little bit of procrastination in finishing something. So maybe you want to go back and get your GED or finish school or talk to someone that you've been thinking about for a couple of years and thinking, I just wish I could heal the way. I've done this with people in my life where I just think, I'm tired of the way this feels. I'm going to have a conversation. I'm going to break down these barriers and it's going to be okay. And it is. I always feel better after I do something like that. So don't be afraid. I feel like there's some really positive growth coming to you. Let's expand the forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. And as we do this, I'll get additional lenses for you to see. Let me just drink some water too, because I'm talking a lot. All right. So when we're looking at health, health is mind, body, and spirit. The important thing to think about here is it's not just what's going on in your body. I've been noticing recently that it is much more about the spiritual and the mental aspects. The body is more the reaction to those sort of stimuli. So what we have here is a close-up of a heart that's kind of in a cage. And we have also a card that reminds me a little bit of Three of Pentacles with Master, because I think of that and I automatically go to the Master card, which for me is that mastering a craft, mastering some sort of thing in your life. So for you, the place where the work needs to be done, and the good news is we're going to be doing this in just a few minutes here on the meditation, it's really healing the heart space. For some of you, I feel like you've held back, that for some reason you might have felt, I can't do this, I don't deserve this. And If that's the case, we're going to open the door. We're going to let you out. We're going to let out that passion, that dream, that desire that's here. And I also feel like some of you can give yourself permission to work on a passion project or something that was really, really important to you. So you matter, your heart matters, your sort of desires matter. And when you start to focus on really being what you want to be in this life, you have more to give. Sometimes you look at people that end up sort of being angry, and it's mostly because they might resent, their place in life because of maybe they had to take care of a family member that was sick. Maybe, like, as I said, they've been waiting forever for a promotion, or they're always putting themselves second. This month, we're going to turn that table and say, okay, you're grateful for the lessons that you learned, but you don't have to sacrifice anymore. You're going to allow for growth and development, especially what your heart wants this month. Because the heart's in a cage, I would say, if you're holding on to heartache, you need to work on healing that this month, talking to somebody, because we don't want to hold energy in the heart space. It can manifest. It can be hypertension. It can go to heart attack or blood pressure. So you want to be really keeping a close eye on all of that and talk to your doctor if you're feeling any of those symptoms. But I feel like some of this could also have to do with emotional pain. I always like to scan the cards too and see if there's anything else to talk about here. We have the Three of Swords again. So I think general heart health overall, making sure that you have cardiovascular exercise, that you work with a nutritionist and a doctor to eat well, to really keep this part of our body working and happy, is going to be important. That's the main thing that I see here, actually. Stagnation needs to end too with the Hanged Man. So I think moving overall, it doesn't have to be, jump roping and jogging. It can be a gentle walk. Look at what we see in the Four of Cups here. It's really about moving forward and releasing that energy, getting out in nature. For me, the flowers and the trees and water and all of that stuff, it's amazing. I was talking to a family member between the sessions here, and I said, I'm so grateful for Apollo because he gets me outside between the appointments, and I can drink in the sun, have the air kind of move through my energy system, and I feel so much better, and I'm ready for the next appointment. I feel like a brand new person, and he's super happy because he gets a walk, but but he's helping me and I'm helping him. So get outside. That's what I see with that too. All right. Speaking of animals here, when I'm looking at wealth, I have a card here that says power animal. I want to read the caption here. It says your animal spirit guide is a guardian to you, is helping you with the situation. Just talking about pets. I feel like for some of you, getting out in nature and just being around all of those creatures that are out there, whether it's a butterfly or an owl, or if you own a pet like a cat or a dog or a horse, because we see one here, that's really going to be amazing. They're called emotional support animals for a reason. You don't need to actually have them certified to get that effect. For me, that was one of the best investments of my life, was to adopt Apollo. He's a rescue, and he rescued me right back. And I think that's true of all animals, whether rescue or not. But I think it's important to, maybe in addition to people, to get outside at the very least and interact with nature. If you have a pet, spend more time with it. If someone in your friend or family circle has a pet, hey, Apollo, yeah, I'm talking about you. Spend some time with them as well. The other thing is, for those of you that are intuitive, you may open up and see your spirit animal. One of mine is a wolf. It's a gray wolf. And I've seen it before. I love dogs. For some reason, I really resonate with wolves and dogs. So there's a reason I get along very well with this little guy. So pay attention to yours. Obviously, with this, with the horse here, there may be something magical for some of you with horses as well. All right, let's look at love now. Love is not just about relationships. As I said, in a moment, we're going to be looking at love with a capital L, how to heal yourself, how to really be in the frequency of love. This month, I think many of you are just discovering who you are. Look at the angelic guidance behind this person, and guess what we're looking at? The heart space. Are we seeing a theme here? I am, which is you have to know who you are. You have to love yourself. I think I might do a video, maybe just a healing meditation and a video on maybe like rebirthing and healing yourself, because I feel like there's a lot of that energy coming through. So this is reverse, but the key here is to give yourself time to see yourself, to discover what it is that makes you tick. Because until you know yourself and until you can look into the mirror and say, I'm happy with what I see, even if there's a few things here and there that aren't perfect, this was divinely decreed. I want to share with you a quick aside, and then we'll get to the destiny card, because it definitely connects with this. I had a past life flashback, That's a little bit of a tongue twister, but I had a flashback to what I did before I came into this body. And I could see at least 2, maybe 3 different angelic entities. And I was in this beam of light, and I could see myself working with the guides, choosing who I would be, what I would look like, where I would live, all of that. So it's almost like, it's kind of like a video game, right? We go into a space and we choose our avatar, and this is part of that. So 3 angelic entities and myself decided on this. And then of course, God, because that beam of light was with me. And as I say this, my crown chakra opens up. So what I try to remind myself is whatever I look like, wherever I'm at, this is part of the divine plan. And I can't get that upset because I chose it. I chose it, and the angels chose it, and God chose it. So loving myself is important, because if I don't, then I'm not loving the choices that the divine energy kind of brought through. So just know you are beautiful. The higher frequency realm, kind of angelic entities and God itself, was part of this creation process. So look in the mirror and see that. And then if you want to work on something, work on it. Know that you have the support of those beings as well. You're not alone. Work on your heart. What is it that you want? What is it that you love? Get into that. Whether that's a new career, whether that's trying to do something that matters, trying to be around people that support you, that's what's going to bring love. And yes, love is available this month, because once you kind of get on that journey, we have the Ace of Cups. I look for Ace of Cups when I'm looking for love. And then I have 2 of the same suit. And you guys are pretty evenly matched. I just see one person that's a little hard-headed and has a way of sometimes not maybe opening up to your point of view. So you're going to have to play the role of temperance in this particular partnership. Whether it's past, present, or future, that's the sort of thing that you're going to have to work with. And for some of you, you're going to have to try to open them up to new things. I talked about in my manifestation video that sometimes love partnerships are teaching opportunities, and sometimes they're just partnerships. So there's a little bit of teaching, not heavy, but there's a little bit of work to be done there. So you can sort it out and figure, does this work for me, or do I want something higher? But it seems pretty balanced to me. All right, interesting. So we actually have someone holding what would look to me like the Ace of Cups, but it was reversed. And so what we see with that is fill your cup first, not in a selfish way, but in a way of knowing I'm taking care of myself. I'm getting rested. If I'm not happy, I'll talk to a doctor and I'll get the support that I need. If I'm not healthy, I'll do the same. If someone's upsetting me and acting out of sorts, I'll set boundaries to make sure that I'm happy as well. Love yourself, mind, body, and spirit. Then love others. And know that the self-love, not in a selfish way, but in the highest way, is going to show people I'm in a place of love, respect, and boundaries. So when I call you into my life, you'll respect those boundaries, and you'll also have the same boundaries. You'll call in a partner that's done the work. So there's a little bit of work to be done, but we have a lot of cups coming through. We have basically an Ace of Cups in your destiny card. We have an Ace of Cups, and then we have a chalice here in the Sun card. So if you're trying to heal a relationship, I see it happening. If you're trying to find a relationship, we see 1 solar cycle. It's possible within the next year if you want that sooner, because we saw it here in the next month. And if you're trying to heal yourself, there's a lot of wonderful healing that's going to happen. 3 cups. A lot of emotional stuff coming through for your sign, which is typically very kind of cognitive. So I think this is a month to spend time in your heart, not in your head. So we'll look at that as we go into the next portion, which is working on the soul. So let's take a look here at the soul and see what's going through. By the way, everybody, thank you so much for being kind and working with Maria and with Ryan. Let's keep this a safe space and focus on what's going on here. All right, so past influences. We're looking at past influences with self-love, healing, and forgiveness. Okay, we have the 2 of Wands. The interesting thing with this card, it was reversed, but I want to hold it upright so you can see it. It says gateway. Notice that this is it's almost like a magician holding something like 2 wands together and creating something. So for you, realize that you have creative control basically this month, which is something I talked about at the center with the chariot card. So this goes hand in hand with that one. It's also a blocking card. So there could be someone that is trying to block you or trying to challenge that control. So stay firm in that. The fact that this card is reversed could show that for some of you, normally with Two of Wands, the person is holding their vision there, that you might have lost track of where you were headed. So I want you to pull it back in. Don't walk through a gateway that you're not sure of where it's headed. So this is where you're in control, you have the key, and you're the one that's going to kind of open this gateway, all right? It reminds me of, what was it, Doctor Strange? Is he the one that kind of opened those gateways? And so just realize you've got that power, but you have to know where you're headed, or it's kind of chaotic. You could end up anywhere, and you don't want to do that. Okay, let's look at present influences and what you can do again for self-love, healing, and forgiveness. This was more about power. So I think power dynamics in relationships are important, remembering that you have the power to control that. Three of Cups. All right, so this is the first this is showing new people coming in, being open to new partners, new friends, new opportunities. Notice that this one also includes family. It's not just about lovers, or it's not just about like a revolving door, people coming in and out. So I feel like for you this month, there could be people that come into your life that feel like they're family, even if it's the first time that you met them. We see that sometimes like when a Six of Cups energy comes in, but in this case, it's the Three of Cups, which means fun. And I want you to have some fun. A lot of these cards have been about work. So I think the way that you can actually open up your heart space this month is to spend time with Three of Cups type energy. So this is your best friends. This is your, if you're retired, it could be old college buddies or people that you've lost touch with. You're going to reconnect with them. And for the rest of us, it's just people that, it's the chosen family, the chosen tribe. I talk about that a lot. It's not always blood relatives, but this chosen family can feel even closer than your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, because you're choosing one another. It's a reason sometimes. It's interesting. Like, I know that people that are adopted wonder, can you ever have that closeness? I think it's more powerful because that mom and that dad really wanted you, or the mom and the dad, they chose you. So just know that it's really powerful to choose someone in your life. Whether you're chosen and someone says, you're my best friend, or you choose someone, that's a powerful thing. So use it wisely. But know that this month you have the ability to spend time with your chosen family and have some fun. That opens up your heart. And I honestly see a connection with this and work. The King of Pentacles here is saying, look at the pentacle. It's right in his heart, right? Normally it's in some other area in the card, but it's all in the heart. It's interesting for Aries, I worked on a diamond frequency in the heart space. So for you, I'm going to try to open it up. We'll do something different, but we do have to focus on the heart based on everything that I'm seeing. We're going to unshackle. We're going to open up. We're going to try to amplify the heart space. And I think for some of you working in a job or living in a place where you feel supported and you feel like it's going to somehow feed you right back, that's important. When we talked about service, it may mean that you are paid less, but you feel like you are getting so much more back. So maybe you decide to go work for public radio or something like that. And it's because, I can do this. That's the message here. So I want to let you know you can do that. By the way, I have to ask, did I do the review? If not, I'll quickly do the review. Do I need to do the review, everyone? Sometimes I get carried away. So let's do the review quickly, and then I'll get into the meditation if that's the case. Can somebody confirm? Yes. Okay, so let's do the review, and then I'll get into that. Thank you to Team Gemini for helping me out. All right, so the review I'd like to do right now, I think it's actually good because we have that piece with it, is to clarify your intent and to remember that everyone's on the same page. What I was talking about earlier was that two of you can converge into the same place. We saw this chosen family that I was talking about here. And I think that the one thing that you want to focus on with that is to make sure that the people that you choose and bring into your circle are people that you trust. And then remember that it's not about a shortcut. I actually feel that this new chosen family or this partner that comes in is going to be able to adequately get you on that path, and it's the two of you working together that actually speeds things up. Service is paramount this month. Either you need to feel like you're receiving something, which we saw when I was looking, fast forwarding a little bit here with the King of Pentacles. sometimes when we just feel like we're doing something that matters, our heart space opens up. So whether you decide to volunteer, or you're going to maybe take less money but get more back, that might be a trade-off. Or you're going to start your own company, and initially there may be a little trade-off, and then eventually you'll be able to make it back, whatever. There might be something here where the type of job is more important than the title or the pay. Same thing in a relationship. The person needs to be reciprocating. If they're not, that's not going to be something that's good for you in the long run. The Chariot card is really about ownership, particularly for creatives, but also for everyone, making sure that your voice matters. This will bring you great joy when you feel like, I've got this. The Ace of Cups here, this is what's going to also unshackle the heart, giving yourself permission to speak your mind, to be strong, knowing that it's not going to hurt other people. It's actually going to call in people that support you better. If they fall away, they were meant to fall away. The Sun card carrying with it the energy also of love. We have a lot of chalices that came through and a lot of messages about love this month. So you have to really exist within what makes you happy, what makes you passionate. Three of Swords, really showing that there might be people in your life that are just at opposite ends of the spectrum. It's okay. It's okay to let some people fall away. The card was reversed and the triangle's pointed up. And that actually is very compatible with what's coming through this month. It's also showing fire, and we see fire here as well. So it feels like you might have a strong air sign coming into, strong fire sign coming in to help you out, and that can balance you a bit. So be open to different ways of thinking and ways of doing. With Temperance in the crowning position here, I think that this month it's not necessary to kind of go into something full stop. With one foot in the water, it's really about taking that first step. And as you do that, you're going to eventually get to a place where you really feel like, I've got this, I'm ready. But one step at a time. And before you know it, you've gained momentum. I talked earlier about that feeling like you might have a mountain ahead of you. It's not that bad. If you focus on one step at a time, you're actually at the top of that mountain before you know it. And we've done that in a meditation before too. So I would say focus on what you can control, not how much you have to do, and know that you have friendship and partnership as a part of this. It's important to be communicative and to set boundaries, and also to call out people that are behaving poorly or doing something wrong early. That way they can correct, that way they know what you expect, and that way you can actually bring everything into a higher frequency. Very, very important. The Hangman reverse, things can go faster when you work together. The Four of Cups is actually more about opening a gateway, which we saw here as we were looking at what we're going to focus on in just a minute with the meditation. I'm actually happy that I did that out of order. Nothing is an accident, because I now see the connection between the Four of Cups and the Two of Wands here. You have to open a new path. Your heart is really what matters the most this month with health, both in a very physical way, but also in a metaphysical way. Honoring your passions, honoring your desires. And if anyone won't let you be who you are, this could also be for those of you that need to come out. If some or have married someone that your family doesn't support, your love, your decision of who you want to be with is so important. Don't let them lock that away. Don't let them tell you who you can love. It's important for you to, and don't tell someone else either. We can't control our heart. Our heart has its own sort of wisdom and energy. And this month you need to open the heart and open your mind. We talked about the power of animals. Literally, some of you might be connecting with your spirit animal, but I actually think it's really important to be around animals this month and around nature in general. We saw that also with the Four of Cups. Discover who you are. Allow the universe to whisper that energy and that wisdom into your heart space. The Egyptians thought knowledge was centered here, and I think for a reason, because the heart is an amazing compass, and all of our chakras kind of help us in different ways, but unconditional love is the language of God in the universe. It is the only thing we take with us, really. We don't take the money. We don't take the names. We don't take the titles. We take the lessons, and we take also our love. So love yourself, please. We talked about looking in the mirror and remembering that you divinely created your body. This is that message. And then make sure that you're balanced. Do what you need to find the balance. And that's what we're going to focus on now. And just to quickly review what we already talked about here, you are the one that holds the key. You're the one that opens the gateway. Don't wait for someone else to do that. Take ownership. Chosen family is sometimes more important than actual family. Choose wisely, spend some time with them this month, and maybe choose them over the family, especially if they treat you better. make sure that you're working your passion. And we're going to really try to help you get to that in the meditation. Okay? Everybody, if you can stick around for the meditation, I would love for you to do that. It's always powerful. It's always healing. And this month, we're going to focus on opening your heart, literally kind of taking the key and opening it up. And I would love for all of you to join in, but if you can't, remember that this is available on the replay. If you can, let's do this together and let's send a lot of love and light to the collective. So whether they're watching live or they're watching on the replay, they'll receive that energy as well. So everybody that's present, close your eyes and let's tune into the heart space first and foremost before we do any sort of painting of the landscape. So I want you to listen to your heart. Maybe you can actually hear it beating. Maybe you can just feel it beating. Take your hands, left first, right on top of that. And I want you to feel your heart for a second and thank it. Just like the center of the earth, this is the thing that keeps everything together. I want you to say, thank you so much for allowing me to breathe, allowing me to continue to be here every day, for relentlessly holding me and bringing me through my life. And I'm so sorry if I haven't listened to you until now. Take a deep breath and send love to the heart. I want you to reverse the polarity now too. Now put your right hand and then the left on top of that so that we can kind of go in there and reprogram the heart. Take a nice deep breath and think to yourself, I love me. I love you. You can say I love you to yourself, but however you want to say that. I love myself. Let's say that. Nice deep inhale. And I love my heart, and I feed my heart with love, with light, with all abundance in all forms. Imagine you could literally hold your heart like a child, and you could kind of hold it in your arms for a second. See yourself, see that younger version of yourself, your inner child, connect it to your heart, and remember what it was like. And if you didn't feel love, then you're going to feel it from me, and you're going to feel it from the universe. I want you to accept the love from the collective here. We're all connected right now. And I want you to know that in this moment in time, if you didn't receive it at any point before, you are loved. You are safe, and you're allowed to do what you need to do to be happy, whether that's a career path that people couldn't understand, whether that's loving a partner that someone doesn't approve of, or whether that's deciding that you have to change your life, whether you're 88 or 8. We're at different ends of the spectrum, but we're always evolving. We're always changing. So really feel that inner child, feel that heart space, love it. Know that you're being loved by the collective. Take a deep breath and feel the energy starting to open up. Imagining what you saw on that card, see those sort of like birdcage doors opening up. And I want you to see your heart energy pouring out, this beautiful green energy coming out like a star, prismatically kind of going in all directions. And I want you to feel your heart energy also wrapping around you. What we're going to create is a cocoon of green energy around your body, and we're going to transform today. So I want you to see the energy cocooning your body, starting first around the heart space, and then moving up to your throat, to your third eye, to your crown, and then moving down to your third chakra, second, first, and then going all the way down to the tips of your toes. Take a moment to feel safe within this space. It's energy. It's not constricting. You feel like you have this warm blanket, kind of like swaddling a baby. You're swaddled in your heart energy. Breathe in and allow each and every chakra to receive a healing from yourself, and also allow for the divine energy of whatever your connection to God is, whether it's many gods, one God, a God with a different name, it doesn't matter. Just see the divine energy that connects us all coming through, and now bringing in a new color light, golden light as well. So we have beautiful emerald and gold light creating this cocoon around your body. And the divine light is coming through the top crown and filling you up in any places that were not full, like a cup, until it is actually overflowing, just like you would see in the Ace of Cups. You have more than enough for yourself or for others. Breathe in for a moment and feel that sense of fullness, of light, of purpose, of love. Let go of any of the negative thoughts that you have about yourself or of others, knowing that these things hold you back. They're low frequencies. The energy of the Three of Swords no longer suits you. You are the Ace of Cups. You are the Sun, the two energies that I was seeing at the beginning. Take your heart, reach inside, find a key. I want you to hold that key in your hands, bring it in front of you in your meditation, and realize that that key now, that is your passion, that is your desire. Your heart gave you that key. You've always had it. If there's anything in front of you that feels like you're blocked, I want you to take this kind of skeleton key. In the top, there's like the shape of a heart. I want you to hold on to that, open the door, and see the door fall away. And if you are kind of a fan of sci-fi, see a prism or see a wormhole or see a gateway open in front of you. And now decide, where do I want to go? I just opened up all the possibilities in the universe. I hold the key to creation in my hands. The card for health this month said Master, and it had a heart that was shackled. We just unshackled your heart and gave you the key from your heart. You can do anything you want now. The question is, what do you want? Once you understand that, you can step through the portal. You can step through the gateway. Take a deep breath, realizing that this morning or this evening, depending on where you're at, all that you have to do is take that step. You may not go completely through the portal, but once you start taking the step, the energy will pull you through. The momentum will start. Your trajectory will be forever changed. So I want you to take the first step. I want you to be like Temperance. Put that foot through the door, through the portal, and feel like, I'm okay. It's going to happen. It's happening. The change is underway. Take a nice deep breath. And as you exhale, I want you to see your cocoon start to unravel, start to fall away. And what's underneath? Is it a new version of yourself? Have you kind of reforged who you are? Is it a butterfly? Because we just talked about a cocoon, so a butterfly or a moth. If it is, see all the beautiful colors that you've created in your new sort of energetic body. See the ability to glide through things with ease. If it's creating some new version of what you can do, see that vision of that as well. You have changed. You can create whatever it is. I don't want to put it into your vision. See the new you. See it unfolding, unfurling. Maybe it is just this beautiful flower like a lotus petal with all of these points of light. That's what our top crown chakra looks like. It's a lotus with all these little points of light. So maybe you've just opened up to receiving divine energy. And I want you to focus on your heart. Look at it now. It's no longer shackled. You have a key now. You can keep that in your pocket. You can wear it around your neck so it touches your heart space. And I want you to see your heart beaming out light. See yourself as shining as brightly as a star and using this heart light as a spotlight to bring integrity, to bring boundaries, to bring opportunities to anything that you touch in your life. And think to yourself, not just that I love myself, but I am love. And by being loved, by loving, by connecting with that, then love will come back. It's a boomerang. That's how love works. Love with a capital L. Look around you, and if there's anything that seems like it's a boundary or a barrier, shine that spotlight, that heart light onto that barrier. See it disintegrate, see it melt. Or take your heart key and open it up. So now, as we look at March, it's a month of possibilities. There are choices to be made. There are gateways to walk through, but the work has begun and the momentum has started and the choice is yours now. Take a nice deep breath. Keep that green energy flowing around your body, no longer as a sort of cocoon, but now as brilliant waves of light. Open your eyes. And welcome back. So you guys had a very special meditation, focusing on the heart in a different way, knowing that your heart is a key. You can reach in there and get the key, open things up whenever you need it. You can shine the light from the heart on things that you care about whenever you need it. and you're no longer held back by your own illusions or by others' lack of support. Thank you for allowing me to conduct that meditation and that healing, for also helping you read the signs for the month ahead. And I saw that there were a bunch of people. I think there was a new channel member and a lot of super chats and super stickers. Love you so much. Thank you for doing that. And I see we just got a new channel member as well. Thank you so much, Sun and Moon. Everybody else that has given me some sort of super chat or super sticker, when this is posted, give me about 5 or 10 minutes, but I will thank all of you properly in the comments section below. If you'd like to find out a little bit more about who I am or what I do, feel free to take a look at my website. As I said earlier, it's just nicholasashbaugh.com. And big thanks to Ryan and Maria for helping me hold this space. I know that someone was acting up earlier and they were kind about kind of correcting that. So thank you. And I know that they've already put out some of that information, but they can do that again if they want to. If you would like to connect with me on social media, my username on Facebook and YouTube is Nicholas Ashbaugh. And I'm also on Patreon under the same username. So Patreon and the channel membership here, or the super stickers, they're so important because these cool cards that were out of print, I was able to get that through some of the contributions from people like you. So thank you if you've done that. That's how it comes back to you. For anybody that wants to join me on Instagram and see cute pictures of Apollo, please feel free to do that. Again, my username is Nicholas_Ashbaugh. I also will put exclusives. This month, actually, one of my exclusives is a review of the Dali Tarot. So check that out. I may eventually put it on YouTube, but at least for this month or for the next few weeks, it's exclusively on Instagram. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's @Ashbaugh. And if you're old school and just want to give a one-time contribution, you can either go to my website and click on Patreon, or on PayPal, it's my name as well. And I just want to say thanks for the support of everyone. Please also subscribe and share this with people that you care about. That means a lot as well. It tells YouTube, it tells me that this is making a difference. So with all of that being said, thank you so much for bringing your energy here as well. You helped make that meditation so amazing. And I love doing the live readings. I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. This is so much better than what I did for 5 years because I get to connect with all of you. And welcome again to the new members. RM, nice to meet you. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for showing up. This again is for March 2020. If you haven't already watched February, it's on replay. This will be on replay in just a few minutes as well. All right, guys. Much love and light. Have an amazing month whenever you watch this. From my heart to yours, keep working on yourself, keep opening up, and remember that when you start to get into that energy, look at the difference between this. You're going to be happy. You're going to be fulfilled. It's that heart space that really matters. So take care of yourself. You deserve it, okay? Thank you so much. Sending you love and light. Have a good one.